happen here. I might collapse in my nervousness. This one's called Map and Legend. And it's supposed to be like a kind of a painterly, kind of snapshotty thing. That's why it sounds like a painting in the title. Map and Legend, circa 1998, American. You could say it's pretentious. You might be right. Okay. So a lot of my poems come out of a place that I'm not really sure. I really don't know, but part of it is that it comes out of a sadness, or more like a longing, you know. The wind unattended. Sorry, gotta wind myself back. The wind unattended. I drink full-throated here in the warm South, sick for home. That North Star, serious, murmuring, cross rivers and flatlands. How is it my shadow is not enough? I cannot leave her. Silence like metal on my tongue. Chaos is my heart. I am smothered by constellations. I travel north. Where else does one start at the end of the day? Journey. We're all in this journey, right? Journey to find self, find other, find something that is other than what's scrambling around the head. But I found it today here. Okay. I have. This is like awesome. Okay, the next one is going to be, I tried to get organized and that's hard. Okay. Un momento, por favor. I got this special sequence that it's not anymore. So I'm going to do this one. It's called Fishing. I didn't read it when I was with you guys, but I'll tell you. Uncle Philip, I know you wouldn't remember this, but I do. I showed you a bunch of my poems, 14 of them at the time. That's all I had. Right before you two were married. It was at Grandma Di's house. And you want to see my work, and you're like, yeah. And then you got to this one, and you're like, I don't know what you said, but you're like, yeah, you got it. This one's good. So I'm reading it.
I'm standing by.
Yeah. So
I'm not sure when you're starting or when you're finished.
That's okay, no one does. You're just gonna be there. So here's the deal. I wanted to say that it's odd. This is my only narrative poem. And every time I go to read from this book, people always ask me to read this poem. It's like everybody's favorite poem. So if it's not your favorite poem, the odds are, I'm doing well with the odds, so. And I do want to say, this is a special poem because, you know, it's the idea that when I start writing, I don't have an idea what I'm going to write about. Kind of just allow the intuition to go, and then I just edit. So it's always a surprise, and if it's not a surprise, then it's not worth it. But this one has long lines in it. It's really slow, so it had to slow my thinking down. And again, I wasn't thinking here, I was thinking, I guess, here. And again, I'm not really sure what it's about, but I do know that there's what we do with our fathers when we're daughters, when we're young. We hold them right up here. We hope they're our heroes, right? And then you have the family dynamics, and you try to figure out, well, if this thing didn't feel right, if this didn't appear right to me, whether it's a little violent or a little sad or whatever, then you go, well, how do I get that? How do I make sense of that? My father and I, in an aluminum rowboat with Hershey bars, and sandwiches stuffed in our pockets. We would sit breathing icy air into our waking lungs, the sun not yet breaking the horizon. The time when quiet is the lapping soft against the boat, oars dripping, dipping, the sound of forgiveness. My father, stern and lean, beautiful. In the eyes of women, untouchable my own. Held onto the oars with his long, ready hands, a pipe in his mouth, mustache forming ice, eyebrows furrowed like mine. Everything was serious. A philosophy, a destiny, a pulsing quiet with the schnapps in a flask. Hugging my father's breast, waiting for the celebration of the first fish. The first real fish I ever caught. Not the little bluegills or sunfish. With my sister, the ones we always threw back because of their size, because I didn't want to kill them anyway. The summer I first remember hating my father for humiliating my mother. The summer he chased her with a snake out of the cottage while she cried hysterically. I didn't put this in there. Brad! That's not in there, right? But that's what she was doing. He laughed hysterically, my mother loving him. Until he made her crack, like how he made me crack, like how I thought the pole was gonna crack, snap in half. While my father watched me struggling to keep the line from giving, yelling, "Dad, help!" Almost crying, begging, panicking, and he wouldn't help. He said, "Do it yourself," and I hated him. Afraid I would fail. Because he wanted me to win. And that fish made me hate him. That goddamn fish, 21 inches long and beautiful, flopping in the net, slick colors glistening in the cold sun. He made me take it off the hook, and this part's not true, rip its gills, drag the silver metal through its beautiful mouth, tearing its flesh. And he made me stick a knife in it. He didn't. In the silver belly, plump with spawn, and was so pleased we had bait for more killing. And I felt the cold blood flushing into my hands, organs slipping through my fingers. The steam of my breath in the air, and the sweet, putrid smell like that, like a hungry dog. And he poured a schnapps. No, he gave me a sweet because I was such a sport. And he was so proud. I was beaming despite my hate, despite my fear. And the schnapps was my friend. So I asked for more. Just one more. I would say, and we drank while his stern hazel eyes watched the movement of my throat with the liquor going down. And I asked for another, like my mother, until he refused. In his eyes, I remember the white, made me feel his disgust, made me hate his fear. I didn't understand my desire. I only knew I needed to wash away the blood drying tight on my hands, to sleep without nightmares, and to try to understand, or forget, or not really believe why I have to perform catching fish. I love you, Dad, so much. I've never ever did that in front of you. It was so hard.